When I was about 21-year-old, I was starving myself on 1,000 calories a day, sometimes 900, doing 45 minutes of cardio and trying to lose as much weight as humanly possible for a holiday. And in the process, I lost a shit ton of muscle, I lost my confidence, I lost any ability that I even had to actually understand what I was doing with my own nutrition. No guidance, no structure, and in this video, I'm going to explain how I ended up getting there, what it looked like, and exactly how I would coach my younger self out of that hole today. So for like 2-3 years, I had a poor relationship with food, right, and a poor relationship with how I saw myself. I spent about 51 weeks of the year, no joke, out of shape. 51 weeks of the year out of shape. And the 1 week where I did think that I looked like half decent, where you could see some abs, I dieted so brutally hard, eating low protein, I'd lost all my strength, all my energy, and any muscle that I'd even built. So even when I did actually get there, I thought that I still pretty much looked like shit. So because I was eating so little through the week, I would binge, right? I would eat sweets, chocolate, donuts, essentially whatever I could fucking get a hold of. And I actually got so bad at one point, and for full transparency, it got so bad at one point that I was actually eating in private, right? Like I was like fucking some documentary fat person. It sounds insane to actually say this out loud, but that is actually how bad it was. And honestly, I don't even remember really exactly how it built up exactly to that point. It just did. I genuinely thought at the time that was how low amount of that was the food, that how low my food needed to be in order to actually lose any weight, and that was literally like the only way. I actually remember going on holiday weighing around 55 kilograms, which is obviously ridiculously light for like an adult male. No muscle, no energy, very, very little. And I remember standing right on the bathroom scale that morning, quite vividly actually, and I'm sure it said something like 116.8 pounds or something like that, and the fact that I was actually pleased with that, like I was happy when it said that I was that light, and it tells you like where my actual head was at that time. And what happened then was, like, as soon as I landed on that holiday, I ate everything in sight for 2 days. For the first 2 days of the holiday, I ate everything I could see. Like, went and bought bars of chocolate and bags of sweets and everything, because I had literally starved myself. It was so bad, right? It was a really, really bad situation to be in, and I am so glad that I'm extremely, extremely far from there, and I've came a very long way since that position. So how would I coach a 20-year-old starved, lack of energy, no muscle Jamie out of that position? So I wouldn't put him in a deficit, right? That's for sure. I would put him through a structured reverse diet. Now, this can be a mental challenge when you have a bad relationship with food, or even just a slightly poor relationship with food. It can be difficult, but something needs done, okay? So food would be gradually, very, very gradually and very carefully increased and introduced into the diet week by week, whilst massively focusing on getting stronger in the gym and adding muscle to my younger self's frame. That phase would do two things at once, right? It would up-regulate the metabolism, pull him out of the hole, and put him in a position where he could actually diet properly down the line. But I drum, honestly, just about into every client that I coach, his physique progress is actually built by spending more time out of a deficit, not in one. You will not make a ton of progress going round in circles, certainly not going round in circles, eating low food, and then binging afterwards, and then dropping your calories way down again. You will actually get on way better spending more time main gaining, or in like maintenance blocks, focusing on getting stronger at key lifts. Then you diet down properly when the time is right and you've actually built up the position to do so. Now, obviously, I didn't do this then. I didn't do this actually until 2021 when I got my own coach, and that's exactly what we did, right? We done a proper reverse diet and then a cut after it. And yes, my calories did eventually get quite low when I dieted, but by that point I'd actually built more muscle, and I wasn't in that horrible binge-restrict cycle up and down nonsense that I've been stuck in for years. After that reverse diet, my relationship with food actually completely changed. It really, really did. It improved a lot. I stopped craving everything in sight. I had structure, I had accountability, and I made more progress genuinely in 4 months than I had in the previous 7 years combined. I know that sounds probably quite like an exaggeration, but I promise you. So if you have ever struggled with this, drop a comment below or send me a message on Instagram. I'd love to hear your story and hear where you're at and potentially help. Over restriction and binging isn't something that we should have to struggle with now, as there is literally so much help and good information out there. Remember, you can apply to work with me directly, one-to-one, via the top link in the description. And if you haven't done so already, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and as usual, there is loads more content coming your way.